Hi class, and welcome to week 9. I'm posting this video a little bit later than I usually do because I had to take a couple of days off earlier in the week, and I've been running late ever since then. And I realized that there were some changes I wanted to make to the comparative summary assignment, some improvements that I hadn't fully implemented yet. But they're ready to go now, so let's see what we have. All right. Oh, wrong page. All right, here we are. So week 9. First draft of the comparative summary, verb tense, and citation types, hedging, and remote conditionals. So here we have it in the week 9 module. So starting with the consultation. All right, so schedule your comparative summary consultation. So I'm doing this just sooner rather than later right now, just to make sure everybody gets their consultation scheduled. And so I've given some instructions on how to do that here. Here's a page in the Canvas manuals that explain how to do it, and then I've also put those instructions right here. And furthermore, I'm going to show you how just right now I have this separate window with the student view in it. So if you go to the calendar and you go here to find appointment, then choose this, and there you should see all the available comparative summary consultation appointments. Some are available on the week after spring break, and some are available the week after that. Okay, so you choose it now, and then you'll just have that done with. And furthermore, if you look ahead in the calendar, let's see, let's move into April. You can see that I have already even put in the research paper individual consultations in there. So they're in the week, this week in April, and this week in April. So choose them now. Even though this is an assignment in a later module and you can't complete the assignment yet, you can still choose your time now while they're still widely available. And then later on, when you're eligible to complete that assignment, then you can tell me if you're meeting in person or via Carmen Connect, and post the questions you want to talk about. So, okay, so schedule your CS consultation. You can do that and do these other steps down here too, and you can even schedule your research paper consultation several weeks in advance, even though the assignment for that isn't available to you yet. All right, what next? Well, style guide discussion. It's a third discussion in your style guide about citation types. We talked about integral and non-integral citations, which heavily overlap with author prominent and research prominent, and now we're going to look at how that interacts with verb tense. Right. So here's a discussion with sort of a general rule about how many verb citations use verb tense. So read that, and then look again at the citations you've been doing in your style guide discussion group, and see if papers in your field tend to follow these rules or not. Okay. And after all this discussion here and the two from last week, finally we can put together your style guide for in-text citations, where you just put together a 1 or 2 page guide explaining what papers in your field do when they cite texts or cite sources in the text, and here are links to the 3 discussions that as background. Okay, next, a video, hedging and boosting. So here's a video with someone with an Australian accent. So hedging and boosting, important rhetorical things to be able to do in your academic writing. And then after that is a discussion on hedging. I haven't said as much about boosting. Hedging is going to be more important to you, right? So, and then here I give an example of a paper I read, and this guy has hedged a couple of the claims he's made. All right, moving on to the grammar, it's open and remote conditionals. What are those, you may ask? Well, the video talks about it, and in this video, I go through this diagram here and sort of explain what's going on with it, what it means when one of these squares is white, and these 2 squares that are light green, and this square that is darker green. There is a meaning to the colors I've chosen there. And by the way, some people notice that the only square that has a negation in it is this one. That's completely irrelevant. Any of these kind of conditionals might or might not have a negation. Like if he knows the answer, he won't tell us. If he knew the answer, he wouldn't tell us. If he had known the answer, even if he had known the answer, he wouldn't have told us. So the negation, that's irrelevant. The main thing is the verb tenses. So look at this while you watch this video, and then I want you to do a search in one of the papers in your annotated bibliography or comparative summary sources. I need to change that, and just look for the word if. Search for the word if and see what kind of conditionals you find. Make sure that it is a true conditional and not a yes/no indirect question. How do you know if it is? If you can replace the if by whether, it is an indirect question, and that's not what I want, and I will not accept it. I will make you. You'll have to redo this until you get the full score here, right? And then identify the conditional as open or remote, present time or future, present, future time, or past time, or if maybe it doesn't even fit into this neat diagram at all. Not every conditional does. All right, so after you've done that, then I want you to write a remote conditional. And furthermore, I don't want you to write a remote conditional about, if I had not overslept, I wouldn't have missed the bus. That's a good remote conditional, but I want this to be a remote conditional about, critiquing somebody's research. If they had controlled for this variable, then maybe their results would be more, reliable, something like that. Okay. All right, and then finally, here's something optional about remote conditionals. This is a little bit, these are a weird part of English grammar. This is an episode I wrote for a podcast back in 2012, and I go over much of the same ground as I did here. You can read the transcript here, or you can listen to it here, or you can completely ignore it if the other stuff allowed you to understand this pretty well. All right, moving on. It's our next practice paraphrase. So it's your 5th time around here. And actually, I'm happy to say that the paraphrases are getting better. The first paraphrases, everybody was forgetting to cite the source. And that's really the most important part. But now almost everybody is remembering to cite the source in there. And we're also seeing some good examples of what to do, plus some good examples of what not to do. Some paraphrase by synonym. And look at the comments I've made for other people there, and you can see what some of the dangers are paraphrased by synonym. If you did some paraphrase by synonym, hey, that's okay. This is a mistake that I'm hoping will help you learn, and it's a mistake that everybody makes when they are learning how to paraphrase. So anyway, this week it's from Denis Niamu about a parasitic something or other. And it looks like I need to remove a couple of extra line returns in here, but that's okay. And finally, comparative summary, first draft. And so this is what I was improving a bit. Before I had 3 drafts of it. This time you're only doing 2 drafts because I was noticing that most students, by the time they turned in the second draft, it was basically very little needed to change. But that meant I had to change my rubrics here. So I have a new rubric here. I've also figured out how to do the workaround to view the rubric for Turnitin assignments, because this is just an image. You can click on it and you can expand it, but it's rather troublesome. But you have to know the steps to get to see the actual rubric, and so I found out how to do them on this page, and here they are. So do steps 1, 2, and 3, and then you can get a closer look at the rubric as well. Or again, you can just click on this one and look at it. But do look at it. These are the things that that I look at for. This is how I grade the papers. So anyway, after you get your feedback from that, we will have our meeting. But that will be in next week or the week after. Or no, not next. Next week is spring break. Yay! Okay, so it'll be either the week after spring break or the week immediately following that. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. So good luck, everybody. If you have questions, as always, send me an email, and I look forward to seeing your discussions and other things you turn in this week. All right, where am I now? I guess I'm done.